why you're still in MCA and you're not in the opposition? You have not joined Pakatan. Or are you intending to join Pakatan?
Not really.
DAP,
Yeah.
PKR?
Not really. In fact, well, I think everybody in politics should at least has his own principles, and I abide by my principles. Principle doesn't mean that I need to jump ship just out of expediency. But on the other hand, of course, I still remember prior to general election, time and again, my detractors within the MCA, especially the party president, had been asking me in the open to quit the party, and I chose not.
He asked you to quit.
Yeah, and
he asked
to
you
leave
to
the
quit.
party. To leave the party if you are not happy with the leadership. Then I chose
What
not.
did you say?
I
What
said,
did you
why
say?
should I in the first place? Because I did not join the party due to personal cult. You know, it's not because of a CSL or Dr. Chua. Then I chose a party.
Sure.
It has never crossed your mind to ever cross to the opposition to fight for the rakyat better?
In fact, I'm still having the people's interests at heart. Now, because even without any portfolio, I'm still pursuing my cause on the NGO platform. For instance, like the mobile clinic service that I've been pursuing this far for the past 4 years. Now, I never give it up because I believe that this is one way where I can reach out to the people and serve the people.
Right.
What are the current fractions within MCA? What are the two major teams, and would there be a challenge towards Dato Chua Soi Lek in the next coming election within MCA itself?
Right.
Well, I think that is an interesting question at this juncture because everybody has been talking about the possible factional fight, but to my understanding so far, there might be different factions, but whether or not they are going to mount any offensive or rather challenge against the incumbent, that I wouldn't know exactly.
Would that be the deputy himself, Dato Seri Ong, as the next fraction will be challenging Dato Chua Soi Lek?
Because he seems to be like on the fence, you know, sometimes he's with Chua Soi Lek, sometimes he's not.
Well, in fact, what I can share with you is, as it is now, the contemplation to challenge incumbents, right, doesn't seem to be that obvious, simply because prior to this there was an attempt to call for EGM, but I was told later that they couldn't gather sufficient signatories to petition for the EGM.
So now MCA has got leaders who are by default just holding positions because they are either not strong enough to challenge someone, or they decide, you know what, since no one is strong enough to challenge me, therefore I'll still become the president.
Yeah.
Well, I think these are the hard facts in politics, especially partisan politics. More so when you have such a system as a delegate system.
Do the Chinese still want Chua Soi Lek?
Well, I think the GE result, the GE13, somehow or other, has sent the party and the community a very clear signal, especially the level of support for MCA under Dr. Chua's leadership in GE.
Okay, so who do they want? Do they want you? Because there are also quarters saying that you are, questioning whether you are a team player or you're a loner. Do you have any friends? And because you do not have any friends, that's why you lost in the last party elections.
Well, of course, again, that
are you a loner?
That has been bothering me because in the first place, I don't think that it is what they call a fair tact attached to me. They call me all sort of names just because I choose to speak up, and also at the same time, I insist on independent-mindedness. Now, especially on issues that are related to public interests.
As far as the most recent case, I also noticed that you raised with regards to the EGM that MCA under Chua Soi Lek stating that will not be taking up any posts at all.
Yes, and Ng Yen Yen
have been maintained as the
tourism Malaysia chairman,
right? And you stated that Chua Soi Lek does not have the guts to tell and take on Ng Yen Yen.
Oh, but that's all right to do that, because at the end of the day, whatever Chua Soi Lek says goes. Is that right?
Well, in fact, not that I want to go hair split or having any qualms against Dr. Ng Yen Yen, but rather because I'm I'm simply confused by the fact that prior to this,
We are all
now,
confused.
yeah,
Are you
when-
confused?
yeah.
Ernie?
Now I'm wondering, is he sleeping with Dr. Ng? That's why he's not allowing such a thing to happen.
well, that is too far-fetched. And but to me, because prior
Anything
to
can
this,
happen.
yeah, to me, prior to this, of course, I still could remember. Out there, there were so many village heads, right? The
That's right,
JKKK
yeah,
heads, or even the councillors, or even some of the minor, very junior government posts, government appointments. Those appointees, they had to tender resignation upon the directive from the top. But why this could happen? Because even
Good
if
point, good
this
point.
particular post were to be appointed by the Minister for Tourism,
Yes.
it is again a government post.
Yes, because even the Sultan of Johor appointed, there was the T, and he was suspended, I understand, for 3 years after accepting the position for the Johor Committee. And why would the minister appointing someone and it's okay? So we're a bit confused about that kind of decisions.
Well, in fact, when I said that I was merely raising doubts and my concern, I don't mean to quarrel, to pick up a quarrel with anybody, let alone I want to sabotage the party, because I know that for sure a lot of so-called unnecessary, unsolicited allegations will be made against me whenever I tweet or I post something to my Facebook.
Dr. Seri, are you the best option right now to save the party MCA before in the next general election it will be totally wiped out?
Yeah, because one of the reasons also that was cited for MCA's washout in the GE13 was because of your feud, continuous feud with Chua Soi Lek.
Well, in fact,
Time to bury the hatchet?
as I said earlier, I don't have any personal hatchet with him, and perhaps it's too far-fetched for anybody to say that we need to have a white knight or a savior for a party, because to me, the savior, too far-fetched. You know why not? Too far-fetched to rely on one person, including me or anybody, to save the party, because the only person or the only parties who can save MCA are none other than the delegates and the members themselves.
The members and the delegates.
Yeah, they have to make the right
Totaling
choice.
But they
how
would-
many now?
But they would
2,000
need
over.
a leader, a person that is willing to sacrifice and to champion the voice of the Chinese to work in a coalition that is predominantly controlled, as perceived by the whole entire environment by UMNO. So they need someone who's willing to speak up and voice them. Obviously, the people have spoken that Dr. Chua Soi Lek have not done that. So would you be the right
And
choice
you know,
then?
honestly, during the campaigning, he was going around, and sorry to say that people will say, why is he not contesting? This is the first time that an MCA president is not contesting in the general elections, and he is known as a pawn star.
Well, of course, a lot of brickbats on him in the run-up to polling day, especially when his sex scandal was resurrected or revisited. But again, I must say that at this juncture, now, it's not that we don't have volunteers or party leaders or party insiders who are there to volunteer their services to the party. But again, there is any room or sufficient latitude for such a person to reinvent the party or not. I think that depends on the what they call the central delegates. What kind of leaders you want? Do you want to have someone who is there just to toe the line, or you want someone who are bold enough to reinvent the party or to initiate the changes at the very least?
If it's not you,
Yep.
who would be the next best choice within MCA to do such a thing?
I wouldn't want to speculate or perhaps to implicate anybody, because it is unfair to do so, especially in their absence. But what I believe in is certainly the party. The party has room for dissent, has room for such personalities who are prepared, who are gung-ho enough to initiate changes.
You're friendly with the opposition.
Well, in fact, I must say that we shouldn't have any personal vendetta or even or sometimes ill feeling against specific personalities. just because of political differences. I don't believe in that.
Okay, we need to wrap up
Right.
shortly now.
Yep.
But coming back to, of course, what happened during GE13, there were quarters also who always thought that even though Chua Soi Lek said, etc., about you and not wanting you to contest, Najib or our Prime Minister should have actually insisted that you contested because after all, you're a winnable candidate.
Well, in fact, I was told at the 11th hour that it was the party leadership which chose to drop me as a candidate, and perhaps one of the reasons that they justify was that I spoke in few instances against the party, and I was given I was blamed for being indisciplined just because of a few postings in my Facebook or Twitter.
So MCA does not encourage party members to speak up even though it's a wrong action and decision made by the party?
That has always been the case, hasn't
Well,
it?
in fact, I must say that that depends on the style of leadership that varies from time to time.
Has it become the Chua family dynasty in MCA currently?
Well, of course, that is a matter of perception at this juncture.
In your perception, in your view?
In fact, I did say that loud and clear. If anybody wants me to leave the party, including Dr. Chua, since he made the statement quite openly, and I said that perhaps I would do so. I would consider doing so, if at all the party has been transformed into Chua's and Sons Limited.
Right. If he really wanted you out, why didn't he just sack you anyway?
There must be a reason to sack me. Is that right?
On that note, we need to end the show. Thank
Thank you.
you so much, Dato
Thank you.
Seri Ong, Keat, for being such a great sport. And we wish you luck in all that you do, and also to MCA, of course. Ernie Chen.
Look forward to your comeback,
Thank
and we definitely want you to come back on the show to tell us your plans for the future for Malaysians and also for the Chinese community in your
Thank
support.
you.
Right,
Thank you
so
very
he
much.
has not given up politics. He's still in MCA, but anything can happen. Politics is, of course, very fluid, as all of you know. Thank you so much for joining us on our show. I'm Anna Woods, Ernie Chen, and Dato Seri Ong, Keat here. Bye-bye.